Spoiler alert, but I'm about to exclusively report the next steps for Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, in the WWE. I'm going to talk about where she goes now that she has lost the IWGP Women's Championship, how much time she'll continue to spend in Japan, the bidding war that is happening around this woman, and the blueprint that she is providing for other acts to follow from different brands, different companies, and different countries as to how big they can be and how much value they can add to their name. She is changing wrestling overall because of what she's doing at the moment. Let's dive into it. So to start with, yes, Mercedes Mone has lost her IWGP Women's Championship, meaning that she is no longer guaranteed matches in New Japan Stardom and any Bushiroad company. There was discussion from Dave Meltzer about her extending her contract, but she's pushed back on that herself, suggesting that there isn't actually a contract to extend, which Dave Meltzer also reported. Sasha Banks, as she was in WWE, Mercedes Mone, as she is now, does not want to be tied down to a contract that limits where she can go, and that almost automatically removes WWE from the equation. A return to the WWE is always a possibility. The WWE have been in constant contact with Mercedes Mone about a potential return. However, with how she is looking to be booked and how she is looking to be used, that seems a complete impossibility at this point in time. She wants to stay in Japan at least for a large part of her time, or at least base out of there, but she is also looking for work in the US as she returns to home soil, as it were. The fact that she is wrapping up her time in Japan, or at least as a New Japan Women's Champion, means that a bidding war has immediately started. Technically, it had already started. The WWE are indeed a part of it, but as I've said, that seems very unlikely. AEW, as I've reported in spoiler warning, are offering Forbidden Door appearances, which means further work in Japan. A contract that allows her to go to Japan for long periods of time while working under the AEW banner, and championship feuds against the top people in AEW, including Jade Cargill, who she herself wants to work with. There is also interest from other companies such as Impact and AAA. AAA are also interesting to Mercedes herself. She wants to tour. These are all the different interviews that she's stating, everything she says on her Instagram and everything I've been able to learn as well. She wants to tour, she wants to travel the world, she wants to wrestle for many different companies. But what I will say, and this is coming from people who work with her in Japan, her interest in wrestling has been massively renewed by her time away from the WWE in New Japan in Stardom under Bushiroad so far. As part of this bidding war, the contact with both the WWE and AEW has been constant. The WWE want her back, but she's not believed to be too interested. That puts AEW, Tony Khan's All Elite Wrestling, in pole position on US soil, but Mercedes Mone does not want to be tied down too firmly. This is how she is providing a blueprint for a change in what wrestling contracts will be going forwards. I've spoken at length about the fact that Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, so many are looking for part-time limited date contracts that still have the big money, but also don't necessarily mean they have to work as hard a schedule. Mercedes is looking for that as well, but she doesn't want to be tied down to a specific company. This is how the AEW blueprint for contracts actually works massively in her favour. It's already working massively in the favour of, for example, Lance Archer, Jon Moxley. This is essentially the AEW model. It's going to be working for Bryan Danielson shortly as well, because you see a lot of people such as Minoru Suzuki working with Bryan Danielson, and you are likely to see Bryan Danielson working in New Japan at some point as well. AEW are in pole position because they can offer that touring schedule, a very limited date contract for AEW itself that would require her to be at the big shows and building towards those big shows. And honestly, I think AEW could massively benefit from having someone the caliber of Mercedes Mone, both in a wrestling context and also the name brand value. Spoiler warning, earlier this month reported that Sasha Banks, as she was known, Mercedes Mone as she's known now, I'm sorry, I do have to mention both names, reported that her time in Japan was wrapping up and US engagements were incoming. Mercedes loves Japan and will likely spend a lot of time there regardless of her contract, but next steps are a move back to the US and a contract for one of the big wrestling companies that allows her to tour and move elsewhere as she requires. Essentially, at this point, Mercedes Mone is setting the terms, and it is up to the big wrestling companies to do as they are told. There'll be more on this one, so be sure to subscribe and hit like on the video if you want more on this. Basically, the more interest there is in a video, the more I will go out there and try and make sure I get all of the information that you are asking for. If you have any further questions, drop them in the comments. Until then, I've been Tom Colohue, you've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.